But er fallis gyroed cwg diag y fwrst ach bod yn hanam yn ac gyda'r chainachig.
Very evident necrophilia to an overlay of narcissism.
Why did you kill them?
I don't know. Been trying to work it out. I'm not a head shrinker, but everyone keeps walking out on me.
It's the attraction to all things which are unalive, all things which are putrefying.
Vai cymal chwth an y ples. Ys fi gael hyrd ymach as y ples yn yr ast y ddys, gael glanix, gael chwth an y sir.
All things which are to do with death and decay and destruction and dismemberment.
Why did
you take these people back to your flat?
They wanted a drink, they were stranded. I don't really know.
Make a fair show of how my hachris rutikin kuhikas a yuis.
One day he said to me, do you know, if you hadn't caught me when you did, it wouldn't have been 15, it would have been 150. He said, because I couldn't have stopped myself.
Eid nhw lagan garan, nhw tia ceithich at y tri, chan y polish I gydem chan y sgidi sio an y lwnain, Muswell Hill. Balwch gwbrwch is gyrotaiach gymorag an y dreine. Chai yarafych gymasgi bwlte gyda pys di chorpe fa sio. Y ffesgyr sy'n hyn, chai dalapanach Dennis Nilsen y chwili graim. A chan e fwrst fa sio, ach cwg diag. Was gealach se dollemach ag Nilsen y dolach with gŵd tra vrechtain is fad.
The thing is, I never lived in dreams of winning the pools or some such as a solution to my psychological impoverishment. I was never materialistic, not at all. My needs were like the needs of a dog who'd never been cuddled, patted, praised or rewarded. I was just a viable human being forced by early circumstance into the role of lone wolf. My genetic inheritance decreed that I would possess the difference that would mark me out from the norm. No one ever wants to believe I'm just an ordinary man come to an extraordinary and overwhelming conclusion.
A Dennis Nilsen has the graim an yn pris an full sudden, chan yr dŵl gyfai a sŵr gybrach. Chai ydi gys o'n sianer ilanich og y fwrst, ag ys fiach yn I cwyast y yisile. Ach gatich ag yn y polish, gyda fwrste cwg dyn I diag, har cwg bliana, mar ysdrichge la fi gadachgig. Mae chai chwili graim fa Nilsen y gwbydd agos y ffiliach lys hyn. Dynia le colas cwmanta afystiach.
I remember him saying to me, it amazes me that I have no tears for myself, no tears for my victims, nor for those bereaved by my actions.
Wij gael brawr as a holodoy as a buringa. Could a need a be tor taichgaf, could need a be torst the pudicaf, could a need a be torst beergav as on a be magav, as can he a chamur.
But he's odd. He doesn't fit into any particular category, any classification.
Han met pulach kinach kelakent kichide gechereunja. Han so kind of fantasy, more artistic on a doy. Han la fear, han je knees in han it. It's not the real world. It's not rooted in the real world.
Ach a gangen chotillo se weg ritsin, va echtri Nilsen chofier se jagevi.
Yesterday evening, with other officers, I went to your flat, where in the front room in a wardrobe we found 2 black plastic bags. When the bags were opened, they were found to contain dismembered parts of human bodies. Do you want to tell me what happened?
I killed him by strangulation quickly. I get nothing from inflicting pain. It's just a compulsion when I'm drunk. I used something like string to do it. It was quick. I cut the bodies up on plastic sheeting in the front room using one of 2 knives in the kitchen.
Get de hachar na múrsten ulluk an a lónain. Rúcug is hócug Dennis Nilsen fattis falavan valavór. Túv sér túa na halapa. Bana nýra vi va Olaf Nilsen. Fáse boianach sa skíide.
Weil ahad iddo fi as y sgir efo sin, ti'n mynd na brwech, tron y chogwg, agos negan y chogwg, sgwyd chymed ôl y ffwrach yna hyn, agos ffos boronach unydal, beti chwaith, boronach eich gael yr chawas. Gyda fad postach charwad cwlach glei rhig, nhw gleiadau, agos mae sin gyda dyn ni gra nach roed Dennis Nilsen, nach roed ulwg i riolach i'r ahar as yn heich synidiad.
Jallige door. Ja, dat is wat ik het gewoon eerst. Het is natuurlijk aan dan je uur. Hij is een misminniger aan Nilsen. Verder kun je maken ze nog. Als je zijn.
I wasn't allowed pets at all except for a white rabbit, which I had to keep in a small hutch with a wire window. It died in the winter. I was accused by my parent and step-parent of starving it to death. As a child, this hurt me deeply. My mother was very house-proud and couldn't bear any animal hairs in the house or on the carpets.
Sé iascaide van na Sienna Nilsen ahad bhachad. Cha chlawn agus beti mahad ghuileach conais héin sa ven a stúirte Olaf Nilsen chilige niravi sa facalé gúlú. Va Nilsen sa henad glú díamh.
This is a treacherous stretch of sea at any time. But this day, the waves that were 10 feet high, and the crashing of the water onto the deck, and the rocking of the boat backwards and forwards, was too much for any man.
Ha gael the henad cwtramach sa sgiadach ag Dennis a mismúnin. Agus grabán hada fiach na púri ianú a vi ar aurus tíl.
That's better.
Sé henad iddyn o ha Dennis Nilsen i olwch na dda gyr i sŵas chabawnau da had.
Now, what do you think of that?
Can I find it now?
You need to put the paper on.
The absent father figure in all of this would have been significant, but in no way could be used to explain what is his personality structure, characterized, as I believe it to be, by necrophilia and narcissism.
That's it. Well done, that's good. It's good, eh?
Skíide hiún iascaich fan achal móran sa bia tachast a glachgus aide an dúir. Ach gyda fa tócal nátar go leorach Nilsen, ha bech gawn gyda hacha rúta na áige seo a gúta go bhíos búi a horsteid a stoi blianachir.
Steady. Well, no, that lad, it'll come all right when it's hungry.
He was not particularly bright, but he was not stupid either. He did reasonably well at school, but it wasn't enough for him to be admired. And he needed very much for somebody to look on him with respect and admiration of some kind.
Good things come to those who wait. See, Dennis, patience is a virtue.
Come here.
Jo tjallad sylw vacar mianach sochgyd. Ach, va tjolach mawr an. Agus, eto I chwaed ac yn weisyn Italiana tjocha.
Sit still, Grandad.
How much longer?
Patience is a virtue.
An y nŵrtiag lecha te hyn gaharich sŵl denisog gebrach. Gaat de hele henged a jarmad a stjøy vi falla ve gieskach. Charogile og ach siapli an de guus. Ha kutjen werk nach doe de dief sjechatet.
Red chawas sio bwy chorig yn edd Nilsen. Stoch ych yn y hyd ysgyrwa fech yn Gràdh ysgyrw gyrwa eich yn mae'r bas gyrwa dyrffia sgargi yn y adar yna rwyd.
His idea of love and his idea of death became inextricably entwined at that moment. And that led to a lifetime of disasters.
Who were these people?
The first one, I forget the name. The second one, I never knew his name. He had no identification on him.
Do you know about anatomy?
Yes, I'm a trained butcher. I've got qualifications which make me familiar with the digestive system and the circulatory system.
Skyllen hwg Nilsen as yn aram. Driach gychwyd a re tran a fe sydd yn dahosig an y tri fichyd sy hyn.
Chai asti an y sylw ddile, agos fasyn fasgyd tŵsen bliona. Agos hwm sy'n carcon laga. Yd, fa ciostek fa mahyd yn oped fa gianw. Fa sy'n gara mant fa Neiden, fa Cyprus, fa Balater. Agos yd fa misgwn ila.
Ach, an driach gygafe yn maram o'n y fôr sy'n a chawchgyr. Agus leib sen va vi gar chlossiken. Agus ga kubu.
And a cook has knives, a cook chops up meat and all of that stuff. So you can have, if you like, peripheral activity, which was not unrelated to his subsequent career.
Because he learned how to dismember bodies. Bodies of animals first, and later on, when he was killing people, he knew exactly where to cut. So his work as an army chef was of great use to him in that morbid way.
San manangsja kutjach gehasig Nilsen y tuvig di ferris fische.
Gas ekelwch mesal de seigel ook van de hen agus achul cofos gyro an y gyrflis ach se rwyd charo seidid fa sio charo esan an y gyrflis Nilsen charo newsyn yn heidiad fa sio idiad charo ferris fische na nadar agus san gadid neu sien hwyd Nilsen brisig dŵlig yn amsyn agus gadid neu sien gagin ar amwylwg i leir.
Ach, ik kan nu naam waar kom maar vallig. Kan het fiets waar ik hier, hij kan waar ik hier wie kan die fiets. Schoenmachine vallig vat ne blion nog.
Als je naram heel galapes en crush, dus die ga goedig udonen. Een kete dash, hamachi toch ritjinig. Ga je een polish.
She just off the crossroads of Ashing. I can't say to them, you know, when it's to me, the Kirstakum, Hamik, Inuso Huain, the Migrant, Ficket with the Migrant with the Yano. Ach, I'm so crop and I can save it to Sanara. Maar wij niet in een koop with. Basic camino, just a week with the Yano. I was so kind of scash in the year, I had a police. I had a Vashin Fata.
regimentation is attractive to people of the sadistic stroke necrophile variety. They like rules and regulations, attraction to the dead rather than the alive. The police, well, again, once again, that's authority. Once again, that's regulations and employment of laws and things.
There was one person who'd been in the police force with him who did remember that as part of their training they had to go to a morgue to see bodies of people who'd been run over by traffic or something. And this colleague of his remembered feeling quite queasy, quite chilled at Nilsen's interest in the bodies. He wasn't shocked by them. He was interested in them.
I was paying me Karashina Kuperna engine. That's just the fascination.
The bodies, the army, I would make them dead so that I would look dead. But it had nothing to do with death itself. It was making myself look as different from me as it was possible to imagine, so that I really could be convincing as someone else.
An the nuchtiach trifiket coigtiach luas Nilsen gan a skide seo, Cricklewood an the gan tua lunin. Va ahadis pas gan the nidavi, agis gaka ereketeke an the dilip, ereket nach rotata gula kidish. Achos on a huturus na vea, buringanest, tui huiler toiga heen. Van a 10 meanach moor, agis ruta begoedrumiche, as the nechtri ierkelte was seo, va karigeke. Gynnydd fe cwsiachat yn soch gydag Nilsen, a geisdiwch di ceol clasig a chyd ein nisgar a stioig a tilyg fog riach an yn un y dobrach. Chynnych a ffilionnach na boegin a hyn an y drifig y tsycoig diag. Channych at cw, syach at i twy chwmar colag.
A dy fasyn ffata, ach am zocradŵl fwrig gydyn at y groch, agos rwyd begedig y dybeg y hwyd a ahad, iach al y tyhi enw, ystach i enw, gybydach i'ch colwyn. Agos, as tiwys sy'n, halwoin yw chwedig y misg nwyd yn cynal y reinia, greu mwch ymwylid y ffiwyn.
He didn't understand himself. He said, for the sake of convenience, you might as well call me a homosexual. But I think he was probably asexual.
Agus, wyt gabi, na byd y ffer af acodish, et fwydwch, agus at et oprwch ymach jeisio cew behef i achga. Wyt gabi?
We must be very careful, I suggest, in taking events. We're back to the grandfather's death. And the splitting up of what wasn't an enormously long relationship, maybe disastrous and all that, but 18 months. I mean, this is the sort of thing that happens to every one of us all the time through life. And to try and suddenly make a leap from that to explaining necrophilous behaviour, it's simply, in my submission, not enough.
Heich y chwmpanach, sfa Nilsen y iacalish heen. Ma naam sialolyn, ma nadiot y gynnu a synish dachi y shiraz. Van economy lak, va kinoprach na gulligetys gan y milkin môre, as va trykkich y shiraz nas komanta. Siabala y ron Nilsen min eolach. Fig Nilsen y cwsiachat na ffesgyd y gol an y 10 singe an y mewn y fale, gysortio fewn ferroffili fer i ferris fisio y cryniachig. Fe gol tor ach fe ywalus ych ffyrwstag a brin i dynia nach baniga. Se fasan y feke ydi gamas yd ffidion y chiolga yndanach ag y rodolidysyn. Gyn ffor def ar opa fy cwtiosen y dogach y conladish.
Did you invite these people back to your flat?
Sometimes they would invite themselves.
Did you keep anything by which we could identify these people?
Well, the last one, there was a leather jacket in the cupboard which belonged to him. Everything else went out. There was no money, just 1 or 2 coppers. Even watches went straight into the dustbin.
Why did you take these people back to your flat?
They wanted a drink, they were stranded. I don't really know.
Bala gan rhywys, do'n iechog sy'n byd gan asgach, gan charid, gan opyd. Ffwrdd ystafyn at y chaid yn eich sio, y lwyb mil dynila has y lyhwyach eich, ffagrau meg drafych yn nodiwch, gynnes ag i deolwch y fel o beo niomaraf.
The selection of his victims was random. There's no two ways about that. He would love to talk to people in pubs. He'd visit all the gay pubs. He would chat to people, and then if he liked them, he'd invite them back home. I think what he wanted, in fact, was somebody to stay with him. He wanted a partner for company.
And he would get involved in conversation with strangers, and he was very good at talking to people, not much good at listening, but he was very good at talking, and lonely people were very happy to have somebody talk at them. And sometimes he would take young men home with him. But eventually they would leave because it became quite tiring to deal with this fellow who wouldn't stop talking.
Nilsen o amasach eisiau na eintid, gyda fe gwybod y hwlo la, charo cawnpan eich eich ach y gw, fa fe y ffalo, agos fe sir rhymach ydi diolch. A stoi lain ffwrs da hyn gyda hibe laf y chwna fe, mew amnynolig gan y 38 Ach da la rhan rynwyd chaemach y gol y diysg. Chynnych ydi Ferog, agos chaet gach y coleg gwm Melrose Avenue. Chad y chwyd y dynia ogsen y chas to the mwy dorish idiist.
Hamas when you hear the words terrain, Hanaga, when we hear a cafuiga.
Son cóig bliana ba Nilsen y mwst chafawr na di hwgrige, y gamas eith ffion y ioga a differ gŵchanan. Ba eicarich, lwch clech gi grygichin, ach cwdiach gilen o gyn loch, yn dorst ffagraidd.
So, how long you been in this place?
5 years.
The dog? What's it called? Does it have a name?
Bleep.
I used to live among them. Great wee thing. Ran away.
Chanin cwtioch gyhw, nad checklist psychopathy. Vaak le vahet toen harin stoi. Vaak maak lib filant le vial persuasive na fach continuelijk agus hatulik machine.
Want a drink?
I thought you'd never ask.
Rum and coke?
That your poison, is it?
I think it would be perfectly reasonable to regard him as a predator, because these victims were being used as a vehicle for his personal gratification.
Tachers you bdien you kadashgache toch gedag routigen agus noors na most.
And once again, we must be entirely clear. He knew what he was doing, and I know that a lot of it was in drink and so on, but there was no way that he hadn't got a broader agenda.
Cheers. Ta.
Hanega, fiach again choram sa Margunia, was so lakam hachi rutten go. Het rutten ton na mooi in de miog.
Simmerút ag a churad in acin rigol raibh. As a bheits agus chanel sinna liscal ag in nátar kitcin is anna bhí denú na huálas in a bheith dunne sa teanú.
That such vulnerable people could be picked up like toys in the street, so that they can serve as negative gratification.
We are sailing home again, across the sea. We are sailing home again, across the sea. We are sailing stormy water, to be near you, to be free. We are sailing.
It was an expression of my power to lift and carry and have control, and the dangling elements of limbs was an expression of his passivity. It was these two opposite things. I mean, there was my power and his passivity.
I was in the ocean, Dívad ag in Shachor.
Colach go be tucan an gurp, and you marais bhí gaglanis, bheit fiúin bhí ag gur na saí an na séirs, groim mar sin, mar go bhí and I could chuteach ga.
One thing I can't understand. You're drunk when you kill, but sober when you dispose of
You can't be drunk when doing that. I have to think straight. I don't drive. Well, I do drive, but I haven't got a car, otherwise I'd take a speed and go into the country.
Van jaren ik ga heen, haro dingen ze me hele klachten garen was in.
Agus we cameras wij kunnen kurp ervallig van de nul naar het hasja. Agus we gaan kurp als hele.
And then he'd have these bonfires in the middle of the night. I think he had 3 in the middle of the night. He'd set lights to them, say 2 o'clock in the morning, and they'd burn out before people got up next morning. And there was waste ground behind the house there, so that was how he was disposing of the bodies.
He killed people because otherwise they would have left. It was the only way he could make sure that they didn't go. He wanted them to stay. And this was the way to make them stay. And it also fulfilled his fantasy of being with death. Death was a comfort to him, unlike to you and me. To him it was a comfort. It was a source of beauty.
As for das, het we daar in een klassiek in de naam van zijn. En jullie zijn minder die gedaan met jou in de dunje. Wij toch zeggen het konden, het undurres verre wij. Je waar hapuringen goed van woord in onder. Wij kunnen met haar gaan gaan. To understand
the killings, one has, I think, to understand necrophilia. And contrary to popular belief, this isn't having sex with corpses. That's part of it, but it is only part of it. It's the attraction to all things which are unalive. So it's a rather broader thing than simply sex.
Maar waar koper geliefd haar gekuttermacht die de wikonschen fiet ook eigenlijk.
So I'd lay them out, clean them up, so there was no trace of them, of who they were. It enhanced their appearance in some way. So now he's me. He's now my body in the fantasies. But then I would carry them and hold them. He would be there.
Agus a fantasies miljoen de Bhàis kutjak. Agus hashin doi chwalik in a engine. Chaida rutik in a chaida hennet.
Why did you kill them?
I don't know. I've been trying to work it out. I'm not a hedge drinker, but everyone keeps walking out on me. It might be a lot of individual reasons.
Agus noorsen en geen obsessions met join kusp. I can't look on ik geschiedenische. Agus had ik eens maar eens een fiction, had ik eens die negatie hachid, wij hen naar gatel. Agus noorsen haro maar heen graag you. Gaan jullie zeggen, dus dat de god is.
I discount, rather than dismiss, discount the significance of that event, and am endlessly surprised that people grasp at that particular straw to explain this.
So I had few sooner Jesus, I was at the heel, I was Norsen, Pimmick of the Sweeney Hain Che, what I had hammer up. Denial, no week, could you get Galava Pedavac and me, and Galava Pedavac can't as my Yui. I was toch Kajila.
Many of us have lost grandparents that were very close to us. Vast majority do not go on and become serial murderers of men characterized by necrophilous activity.
Agus, am as muchkara fémiki de joch en joga mostigiana vi kamatrich en leischen je reina. En bij Roman en rotte geneke. Schon clear goed de woordje dat leke de hiano.
I'm under great pressure. I drink to relieve the pressure. I think I'm a chronic alcoholic. I've been drinking large amounts over the years since my army days. I can drink a bottle of Bacardi, but I'm still mobile. I've never been thrown out of a pub. I need more and more alcohol to get the feeling of being drunk. Even after a bottle of Bacardi, I can still talk rationally. I might not remember afterwards, but at the time I'm okay.
Roger, gedet, Rokagadag en een waardje en een routen. Hij is swingen nach ro. Ach, het was ook van te duur. Ach, gaan ke middelschien route bij kente de hand. Heb ik hem doen wel beetje. Waar kiri save the moment maar kiri.
He said, I had to get blind drunk to cut up the bodies. And when asked, pressed about it, he said, oh, well, the smell was so dreadful. Well, the necrophile would be drawn to such smell of decaying flesh, far from repulsed by it, as you or I would be. He would be drawn to it. It would be like Chanel No. 5.
Uner te van Isel, is hoe dat een tichtig, je lei hachtig is, het keren de polish it seems to be.
It's always been my view that the ones who left after an evening with him, the ones that he wasn't particularly interested in terms of a relationship for the future, and he was glad to see them go at the end of the evening.
Forever zijn agus ook eigenlijk als het achter zit in York zit al wie kunnen les als in Hamlet ja zo dan je pak ik in Hamlet zit bij er zijn en ik heet de goed was hach
Mustu luas as a flat on the Melrose Avenue that Dennis Nilsen dúsant dunne a bhunst. Ha kerriú na nyamachach scrútig polish agus na gatich Nilsen, be da hiante ra covas in Jonile.
Ook naar de van Chesje Dunje, zeg het Dunje, ik nachro dachi a tenen van de woonte, als een voorgoed kun je ergens, maar soms toch nachro is ik kaarten no, chilvig no, kaal met je, ergens soms dier kerrer maar ook kind, kun je gemaakt.
He didn't actually get to know some of his victims terribly well. I mean, one of his earlier victims, all he could remember was that he was about 18, 19 years old, and he had a tattoo, a dotted line tattooed round his neck with the words "cut here," because he said, well, that's what I did.
Trána húla dat a bhaseo, Húm Nilsen a gopid an a nine dobrach in déis mé an bhela. Gatanig efáid an bolishek am sa bí. Get a bheith a chumal héin a héin, dunne sa bí a chuid eolbasid, da bheith sa húl gléavisteach.
Ac leor, mae ha granchyn y tol na ninjin, ha dy nôrs ni fiech yn styt y gwybod. Ach o'n nôrs gyda horsig na civil servant, fa jíchalach, cian hyn jíchalach.
His murderous activities were quite separate from his professional ones, because they were the different person that occurred when the compulsion began, when the infection began, when the contagion began, whether you call it a devilish contagion or an emotional one. It's a choice of words, but it was never there while he was at work, so he was very efficient at the job centre.
Hynny a opid a farach fa gopid fast y diwr. Agus chan y cwtch cy a fwn hi workaholic y fawn. Mae cachawl hyn sy'n opid. Agus ymwchol cael ag ysyn is na tol y brain engine. As y chwmys fy'n hyn y tol a fy'n ystrytig i wrth yn eilad.
It might be a lot of individual reasons. Being a professionally perfect person, I hated the establishment. This is a maybe, I don't know for sure.
Vai gemôr, sa fi ceolch gemôr a vai be yn nynni, yn i lwch goprach ysyn, agos vai gyma daion, as yn oes ar oed jelig eich cwysyn, fa cwt yn y lwch goprach fa convarys, sam na fad smynnych i gro a rog aion, as yn oes ar oed tymach i fod y cwysyn. Picket yn cael sy'n fi gan hiawr ysyn, gyda fi ceinich as gro Nilsen na heis fian.
Petulance and the irritation, and that I will argue and I know best, that kind of thing. And that very clearly follows very clearly the militancy of the shop steward, etc. So I'm completely unsurprised about that.
Agus my friend, we gaan maar kopen met elkaar, is krijg je mijn friend. Agus, wij kutjurk, waar één ding kopen. Hij gaat plan sig a son vi tar en jun, ska glachkus, ska gå dessa padachig.
Van nachgalachkus a chúst, false self, true self. Va kian mahe de false self a hummer at all. Han a kajiffertje hachrig hikri amach. Gopit.
Take yourself with you, but you don't show it to people. You take it back home with you again, and you're only with yourself when you get back home. That was his life.
Sinne the false self. Humu at cushion at all, and like a chipper chico, kianel, so that's you reacastay. As is a good live, Gràdh Camafash get the glach.
Asteig Gràdh fan y dynia lys rodau y gyrir Nilsen glwysyd. Iwlta uaid ys uaid. Fa leisge y dau an y Melrose Avenue acal, ag ys beth gan y dynia lys rodau 1008 hwrst ga mys glwysig e. Ystawer glwys ag o fflat illa an y sgida Muswell Hill. Asteig waif hwrst ag redol hwrst gystatag y mwst ag yn amsio. Siach na bydd gronch yn chafyrstag a, de ffwydych ymwng da sŵas agos charo garg eich.
Agos anna hyn charo yn y corym eich ach chadr an sy'n adrial agos yn mi.
When he moved to the attic flat, he did say, and I believe this to be true, thank God I'm at the top of the house now. There's no garden, there are no floorboards. It can't happen again. We're all safe. I'm safe, they're safe. But of course he was wrong. He met 3 more people, took them back and murdered them there.
Na cínach go chreis ag cymau ag cyd sa tbe gyl na cín yn y ptesh. Dort ag chorsi as ranting.
And that was the only way that he could think of. He would get the flesh off the bones and flush that down the toilet, and then leave the bones in plastic bags for collection by the dustman each week.
Some trying to look at it in a towel, because every tree is in the hack and training.
Who were these people?
The first one, I forget the name. The second one, I never knew his name. He had no identification on him. The third one was Stephen Sinclair. I picked him up on a Tuesday. I think it was the 1st of February 1983. He had drugs on him. I think he was a drug addict. I threw them out. He had cuts in his arms and had been to hospital to have them stitched. They were bandaged at the time of his death.
Fer mae ieddig yfar a fe sy'n alap a fai agos fa sy'n gyrach gan y rhywaichen mysdiach Nilsen a hort yn greu. Sio gyda'ch oes a hyn borob hwga'n hewn chies i ddelen hewn ag an prash ydych chwcar a tyfai gyl chai amach leis y chw a nos yn rôl a hyn gyda'ch chyn y hyddys na chromwch ag
Van y dynia fa pwylioch as y dau ydys gnefachych, siach gron y dreinig yn goni ydys stochbych ag ys schaffasta, sfad y geren. Mae iedig ag carstel as diwy sia ys fisgers di mars dy noch lag yn jaran noch blwch gwbrwch bod dainarod ag Cranley Gardens.
And the plumber investigated the drains, and he said, in immortal words, he said, I haven't been in this job for long, but even I know that's not shit.
Chais dwch o forac am hyn, mae'n siwrs y lycht. Ach, gan ich biolwch yn asafad ha gyre rwdig yn niw afystach a fa sio. Agos chai iolwch yn di effer chios o hwrdysdiach.
Fa ffisag Nilsen gleifad ef a gyfrach y nwbrydr tyfu mwy o dwcalich y mysg na napien. Chwyd a siachat yn lynch y gol, agos mae fe yn einche chai a hen sias gan y drenichen so ga parst gan y stwyd falaf. Yma fatyn chai a gwpyn mar y babysdiach fa ffisag ich gyda sio o lam y gydig y fygat i anwysyn. Le hileg achi ag 50 munud gysia fan y polish y thewyd hon.
I looked at these bits and pieces that they'd pulled out, and I took 3 pieces of flesh about 3 inches by 1.5 inches in length and width, and 3 small bones which looked to me as if they were human. I thought they had a knuckle at each end, and they looked as if they'd come from the back of somebody's hand.
The police said to him, "We've come to see you about your drains."
And a smile came across his face. And he said, "Since when have police been interested in blocked drains?" And I said, "Well, you take me up in your flat and I'll tell you."
And he immediately tells. Now, there's no try and bluster, you get a search warrant, you're not allowed in this house, or anything of that nature. What are you talking about? He just gives in straight away. Gives in, but also at the same time is sufficiently narcissistic to put his hands up for the crime.
Anisht, ame kiri kinish me gandula. Sakador na shina korsi.
We went inside the flat, and I said to Nilsen, "Your drains were blocked with human remains." And he looked at me and he said, "Oh my God, how awful." And I got closer to him, put my face up against his, and I said, "Don't mess me about. Where's the rest of the body?"
Gavidish na vares, yínsha, diver tachars, yísh na feeding.
Húl cael cat lorakaga cat, gymunedych, mae cael smifa geri lorakaga am hydyn, na lorakaga am sioe.
Chai Nilsen chud yn Gràdh fá áras múst. As a char in the Dlíg station in Bhàis, há sich Nilsen a blin yn út an áil. Chlech gen a frachgil, gráichen hir tachast hart na blianachil. Hui an narad a chólat, uamas in a Polish.
Hold on, he said, "Are we talking about one body here or two?" So Nilsen said neither. He said, "I think it's 16. Well, it turned out to be 15 later on. But I can remember the steering wheel of the car sort of almost flying out of my hands.
I must remind you you're under caution. You're not obliged to say anything unless you wish to do so, but what you say may be put into writing and given in evidence.
I understand.
Siartyn I fan Dennis Nilsen, harwadiaf ga chwmal hyn, ag hyn, mae'r handu, fa son gymich ysgiafach ag ish.
I'm Detective Chief Superintendent Chambers, and this is Detective Chief Inspector J. You feeling well?
Yeah, okay, I had a bottle of Bacardi the other night, but I'm okay. It's just one of those things.
Yesterday evening, with other officers, I went to your flat, where in the front room in a wardrobe we found 2 black plastic bags. When the bags are open, they were found to contain dismembered parts of human bodies. Do you want to tell me what happened?
And when you're sitting there with him in your office, looking at him, with the defence lawyer there and another colleague, you're just looking at him and almost shaking your head in disbelief all the time. Because what he was telling us that he'd done just didn't seem to go with the man who was sitting there.
Aardige miniature. Wees ik waar kun ik ergens bergskeel ik de goede dat er tachers, zo goede dat er de januari natuurnis, maar ook dalle tuwa.
Answering our questions one by one, hardly hesitating, and everything was just flowing.
I killed him by strangulation quickly. I get nothing from inflicting pain. It's just a compulsion when I'm drunk. I used something like string to do it. It was quick. I cut the bodies up on plastic sheeting in the front room using one of 2 knives in the kitchen.
Do you know about anatomy?
Yes, I'm a trained butcher. I've got qualifications which make me familiar with the digestive system and the circulatory system.
Who were these people?
The first one, I forget the name.
Magedig ga casait múst yn o'i Nilsen. Ga fi ga sŵr gebrachtelig. Gydyd astio I gafi ffaglash, hwy Nilsen cydys gen i'r logegi gyhopan, agos y gynawn sio vat y kisnachig statindin.
Cúram is an bríomhan. A bhí dul go léite chóst, léite bí machaniu, agus gan farlogaice, agus mar sin bhar a cónlacha agus gabe cónla legal aid in the dash.
And in actual fact, what happened is that one psychiatrist said that he didn't fit into any of those boxes, so he was sane. Another psychiatrist said, oh yes, he did, and I think he's mad. And the third psychiatrist said, well, quite honestly, I can't make up my mind. So we still ended up with a draw, as it were, and it was left to the jury to find out or to decide whether or not he was guilty of murder or manslaughter. And he was found guilty of murder.
Cha cúslóid Nilsen gan nôl Bailey, si a casad in most agus da chasad gyda iachad I tíis ile most. Hwst rúnid in y dŵch ag y naum nach bechod ga súse ein gebraach. Cha raif at sy bi y machas no maiachgyn. Se rwt y gybrich y chosbeg bewaar, dich blion a stug a fyd y chwyd gan ffdisan, gyntig a di acalof television y chwarig. Gybrich sio úbred uamasach na ni chai chrúlig, rwt nach eich kittig de tillig.
Ja, mis minnig er immertanje, weet jou nog gelaar, fijn is dat je gaan please zijn, ergens zien die please en ik een trach kran, ergens wie tol runne graag, leo, ergens wie kan screwt us karaan zo.
It was making myself look as different from me as it was possible to imagine, so that I really could be convincing as someone else.
He suddenly will say something, well, that's the little conundrum. Now, when he says that, there's no conundrum at all. He knows damn well what he's getting out of it, in my opinion. But the little conundrum that you are going to have to sort out, because I don't properly understand that. He's giving that impression. Well, that's the little conundrum, making light of it. We're talking about people being made lamb chops here, and he's minimising it with a phrase like, that's the little conundrum.
The most exciting part of the little conundrum was when I lifted the body, carried it. It was an expression of my power to lift and carry and have control and...
Ja, dat is. Voor het jaar middel is moest is goede rot hekerig uit janu toen nille. Als aan je waanje bij hartst wopen ach bij goede je waar kochaaltje door skrits kutjug.
The bodies are gone, everything's gone, there's nothing left, but I still feel in a spiritual communion with these people.
Y farach eileo'r Killing for Company ysgrif Brian Masters le Van Haich van Nilsen ha mwrstad iddi fi fiach yn I ffein echtri eilsachig.
The history of a drowning boy, nishe chai shin na chai sio yn hirdes of a shin na chai ait bial of na cwrst, hwyd y cwrst na chlwad lian ket shin I gian y fidyer.
Ha Nilsen yd imydach lichtid agos pys yn ilus skrifus y ffdisad. Ha sgialach yn mwhened agos laich yn oegio yn nochgach tricht.
They were sick to their stomachs, but we knew that just below us lay the wreck of the Margaret Ann.
I couldn't believe that he'd done that, you see. Seeing the person that was growing up and seeing him was two different persons. But I had all the newspapers and everything, but that didn't bother me. It was a case of my son that I was interested in, not them.
She'd been lost in a storm. 8 good men drowned, never found their bodies. And do you know, some of those men were my friends, and I'll never see them again. Never.
Hanel goed maar joen koele wagens, na koel verrichen en vragen. Han zien het, en met geen zien en zien als route schrijven, route hoe moet je griemen kun je.
I'm always thinking about Dennis. When I go through to my bed and that, I think about things in the past, and Dennis is always there. Same as my dad's always there as well.
Storm
always thought about them, how they must feel that he's done that. Always thought about the families that had to put up with that because of what Dennis had done.
All he has argued against is his ability to write his own story all over again.
Heilig houden we zijn. Met de barra we doen boch konjak dag. Hij is er rijk al pra.
Why did you take these people back to your flat?
They wanted a drink, they were stranded. I don't really know.
A cha cumach na leib sin, a control o choidig na leib sin.
I don't know. I've been trying to work it out.
Ieder gewoon was geen dag richtig.
It's better told by somebody else, whether it be me or anyone, than told by him. It has to be put through the prism of somebody else's intelligence and interpretation. As he said to me at the beginning, I can tell you what I did, but I can't tell you why I did it. You have got to work that out. I can't.